This Halloween, the pretty girl next door wants to invite you in for a treat. Or a trick. Witch Tales. Witch Tales. See it with someone who doesn't bite. Much.
Are you ready for the most dangerous women on Earth? They were called the Wonder Women, the most expert hit team this side of the underworld. Wonder Woman stars Nancy Kwan as the incredible and invincible Dr. Sue. She specializes in most unusual medical experiments.
It is possible for me to transplant any part of the human body.
Any part.
Any part.
Boss Hagen is Mike Harbour. He'll work for anyone, do anything, if the price is right. Mike is marked for death in everyone's book. Some because he asks too many questions, others because he knows too many answers. Wonder Woman is new action. Wonder Woman is new excitement, new adventure. Blasting the screen at a pulse-pounding pace that never lets up. Wonder Women, beautiful, luscious, mysterious dolls, trained by the sinister dragon lady to do as they were told. They were killers, a sisterhood of death, but they were also women. You never know what they'll come up with next. Maybe a kiss in the dark, maybe a knife in the back. One man thought he could stop them, but they took him apart, piece by piece.
Wonder Women. Yes, indeed, folks. Good evening to everyone out there. Now, I just want to say a couple of things. The first thing you saw in the intro there, of course, was the trailer to my film, Witch Tales, which is on Blu-ray, the limited signed and numbered edition. And there are only 16 of these bad boys left. And I'm selling them on eBay. They are on sale currently. The link is in the description. So if you haven't already, get yourself a copy. Now, Witch Tales is a horror anthology film that is based upon pre-code horror stories taken from the comic books of the 1950s, the pre-code era. So there you go, Witch Tales, folks, right there. And let's take a quick look and see who's in the chat here. We have Daniel Sweet on the scene. Hello, everyone. Colder than a mother-in-law's heart here. Too old for this. Yeah, well, you know, I don't know where you're at, Daniel Sweet, but it's been a little nippy down here too. A few days anyways, and of course I'm in Florida. I am in North Florida, so you know, we do have seasonal variation. You know, we do get actually, you know, a few weeks of freezing weather believe it or not, in North Florida. Michael Taylor on the scene. Hello, Mike. Hello, Michael Taylor. Michael Dodd here. I'm going to opt for the witch's tit analogy. Hey, Mike and chat folks, indeed. There. The 70s. Yes. Wonder Women. And we're going to take a little look at that tonight. That's one of them that's on the agenda. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Hello. I don't recall that you've been in the chat before. Hello, Werewolf by Lunchtime. Hello, Michael, and Mike. Yes, there are a lot of Mikes. Mikes rule the chat, basically. But welcome, Werewolf by Lunchtime. I dig the name there. That is totally cool. Michael Dodd, Werewolf, what's up? Meyer Greenblatt on the scene. Greetings, Earthlings. Greetings to you, Meyer. Closing Hurdle 99. Hello, greetings from Sweden. Folks, we've gone international. We are now we now have international chat. And Closing Hurdle 99. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy this. I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Michael Dodd, howdy, Meyer. Werewolf by Lunchtime, first time catching you live. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you showing up. Michael Taylor, hi, Werewolf. Werewolf by Lunchtime. I usually watch the fossils on replay because I'm in Australia. Good Lord, it's an international attack or something. It's great, man. I love this. We've got Sweden on the scene. We have Australia in the house. This is just fantastic. And I want to tell you guys a couple of things. Now, last week we were talking about Michael Taylor had brought up the question. He was just basically asking me, Mike, what do you think are the top 5 science fiction films ever made? And I love Disney and comics. Comics is on the scene. Hey, everybody. Hello. I love Disney and comics. Good to see you in here. International Mike, you have arrived. Good, sir. Thank you. Good Lord. Michael Dodd. Meyer says, well, welcome everyone. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's 8 a.m. in Perth on a Saturday. Wow. Yes, of course. Indeed. And Michael Taylor says, hi, Meyer. Now, folks, yeah, so the question was, what are the top 5 science fiction films of all time? And I actually, this week, I started thinking about that. And here's the thing. We're going to do this on Sunday, as we were talking about last Sunday, I guess. Last Sunday. So, but we're going to do it a little differently. We are going to do the top 5 science fiction films ever made from the 20th century and the top 5 from the 21st century. Why? This is why. One of the things that has happened, definitely, especially with technology, the way that it has just gone absolutely insane in the last 20 years in this century, is that we have seen a lot of great science fiction films. In my opinion, indie science fiction films have eclipsed horror films by far. There's no doubt about it. There are many science fiction films much better than the typical horror fare. And even in Hollywood, you have interesting films like Inception or Interplanetary. I believe that was the film, big budget films, but good science fiction, I would say. I would call them, very good science fiction. So I started thinking, I was like, it is impossible to say what like if I was going to say, what are the top 5 science fiction films of all time? Forget it, man. I just started thinking, I was like, we have to split this. So guys, everybody in the chat, that's the idea. So Sunday, if you come, into the chat, remember, we're breaking the list up. We're going to have 20th century top 5 science fiction films and 21st century. And for me, 21st century is easy. It's another one that I could list top 5, 21st century science fiction, especially in the indie department, easily. It would be, so it's gonna be really good. So we're gonna take a very good look, and I welcome everybody that is watching now to bring your lists. And what we're gonna do is contrast and compare. Obviously, we're gonna see who, we're gonna get to that point, I think, on Sunday, where with all of us, we're going to find out what the real top five science fiction films of the 20th century and 21st century are, definitively, objectively. Let's put it that way. So let's take a look here. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, oh yes, 808, yes, Saturday. Closing hurdle 99. It is 1 a.m. in Sweden. Of course, you are basically a 6 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, I think, something like that. Daniel Sweet. Every time I try to make a list, nostalgia keeps creeping in. Yeah, well, that does happen. You're absolutely right. Scott St. Pierre. Hello, Scott St. Pierre, on the scene. Alien, The Thing, RoboCop, Starship Troopers, Terminator would be pretty popular picks. Popular, but not necessarily the best. And I too there is something there too, guys, that I would bring up. Now, it's interesting that Scott St. Pierre brings this up. I would call Alien a horror film. It could have been a film planted to a haunted house. It doesn't. It's not really the technology. It's just there. It exists. It happens. So happens. It's in space. They get this beacon, the whole thing. I call it a horror film, and I call The Thing more of a horror film too. I mean, you could call those science fiction. Absolutely. There is the subgenre, which is sci-fi horror, and I think both of those, Alien and The Thing, as well as, for instance, Event Horizon. Event Horizon is just an insanely good film, but it is sci-fi horror. Okay, so if we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it, you guys tell me in the chat. You know, when I think of science fiction, I think of Metropolis. I think of films like Forbidden Planet, um, the Day the Earth Stood Still, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's what I think in terms of science fiction, where there is in all of those things a science fictional element, like, something extrapolated, whether it's aliens that come down to earth that want to take over humanity, something like that. That's science fiction. In Alien, for instance, it's just a monster on a ship. A monster gets aboard a ship and starts killing off the crew. That's essentially it. So, I mean, and granted, The Thing, the way that John Carpenter did it was definitely more science fictional. I mean, he stuck to the original John Campbell story, Who Goes There, much more closely than, the original Thing film, The Thing from Another World, the 1950s film. Although I love that film, it's fantastic. But you guys see what I'm saying? It starts getting a little tricky. Um, let's take a look here. Ah, Werewolf by Lunchtime, Aliens for me. Yeah, Aliens is actually maybe a little more science fiction than Alien, because it has they land on the planet, they're battling the aliens, and it's kind of more like Rambo in space or something. It's more like, it's a futuristic type of thing. Alien to me always struck me as being just a complete horror film. That's that's all I can say about it. Meyer says, I'm pretty good with my top four, but I have about six movies tied for fifth. Okay, Meyer. And once again, I'm assuming those are all 20th century films. If you can split them, if there's some in the 21st century, you can split those up. Wiley J. Draws, hello. Wiley J. Draws, love that pulp poster. Yeah, Planet Stories in the background. It's just a fantastic poster. I got it a few years back. And, it goes perfectly there. I have it underlit, of course, for that particular kind of effect, Michael Taylor says, yeah, it's very hard to come up with the top five. It is, and people will argue this. And there's another great one from the 21st century, Sunshine, with Cillian Murphy. I would consider that right off the bat. I would put it in my top 20, and then I would kind of, when I'm whittling down my top five, and for the 21st century, I would consider that one because it is a very good science fiction film, no doubt about it, man. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Would you consider The Brain That Wouldn't Die as sci-fi? Yeah, I would consider that science fiction. It's tricky. Pardon me, folks. Still just getting over that damn cold, and I'm over it. But it's that lingering thing of, I don't know, the monkeypox or Ebola or whatever the hell I had with it. But yeah, some of the science fiction films, like for instance, what would you guys consider Fiend Without a Face? Well, Fiend Without a Face was written by a woman in 1931, and it was called The Thought Monster. And it was published originally in Weird Tales pulp magazine in 1931. Definitely, when you read it, you're like, well, this is a horror story. It's Weird Tales. Of course, they also published H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know what you guys think about Lovecraft, but everybody, when his name comes up, it's always horror. There is an absolute fact that all of his stuff is based in science fiction, though, right? I mean, I would say 10% of the stuff that he wrote was actually supernatural or had some supernatural basis. The rest of it was science fiction all the way. I agree, Alien is more horror than SF, but you see, somebody could come, as the gentleman was saying earlier, Scott St. Pierre. Alien, if somebody had Alien on their list as best science fiction film of all time, you couldn't really argue with it. I mean, we could say, yes, it's horror, or we would have to say, look, we're going to have to break this down and say, you guys tell me this, say yes or no. Yes is we make another category for Sunday. We have two categories, right? Best sci-fi films, the 5 best sci-fi films of the 20th century, the 5 best of the 21st, and then the 5 best sci-fi horror films of all time. Tell me, does that work, or should we just keep it, 20th century, 21st century sci-fi films? You guys let me know. I know it starts getting a little, I don't know. I don't want to say complicated, but yeah, Blade Runner is way up on the list. I love Disney and comics. And I'm sure it's on many people on in the chat here. It's on their list. I am absolutely sure of it. Scott St. Pierre, Blade Runner. Once again, I think that's going to be a given in our little Forbidden Planet. Geez, I wonder, if that's going to make it. I bet it is. Gattaca, another great piece of science fiction. The new Dune, I thought it was good. I thought it was better than David Lynch's Dune. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I mean, that's, you could say that. Dark City, fantastic film. I've got that on DVD. Got it years ago. It is just a great piece of science fiction. And that is true science fiction. That is something that it's like, so well done, so well imagined. It's just such a great film. Jacob Bornowski. Hello, Jacob, on the scene. Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine is another really good science fiction film. That would, I'm sure a lot of people would put that at least on their initial list. I mean, it is hard to whittle them down when you're talking about the top 5. Michael Taylor, Metropolis is considered by many to be the first sci-fi movie. Well, it's probably the first feature length sci-fi movie. Of course, there was like a trip to the moon, George Malay, but that was what was that, like 12 minutes long or something, 14 minutes? I don't know. A few years before Metropolis, or God, I think maybe 15 years before Metropolis. But Metropolis as a feature, yeah, first. Uh, I think that's the first science fiction film. There was another. There was a Russian science fiction film too that came out about around the same time, and I just forget the name. It's like one word, and I forget. But in any case, I do believe you're right, Michael Taylor. Daniel Sweet Sunshine is a gem, but makes me sad. Yeah, it is. It is definitely. It's on it's on the downer side. Of course, I mean, it depends on what you guys are. You could. There are so many films. I mean, people might put Silent Running into this. I mean, that's another one. It's really well done. People might they might put Star Wars or The Empire Strikes Back. Now, once again, I consider those more like space fantasy films more than science fiction because it's a galaxy far, far away and blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but people might consider those, though, you know. I mean, folks, there are some indie science fiction films, both from the 20th century and 21st century, that are fantastic. I mean, things that you just like, oh shit, I forgot about that. That's a great. I mean, and I just mentioned like Fiend Without a Face. That is a fantastic film. I have the Criterion uh, DVD of that. It is truly a great film. I mean, it's just so well done. It's I don't know. It's a great science fiction story, and but once again, people would say, "Well, isn't that more like horror?" I don't know. It's got a science fiction premise, so once again, it gets a little tricky. Alien is a slicker version of It the Terror from Beyond Space. Yes, both are horror with the veneer of sci-fi. That's exactly right, Michael Dodd. And of course, as I think I mentioned to you guys, It the Terror from Beyond Space, the company sued, uh, I don't know, the distributor or the production company of Alien. They lost, but they did sue them. And in 1980-ish, I was a teenager. Oh yeah, I was a teenager, and I helped Bill Warren with his book, "Keep Watching the Skies," which is a great. It's the best reference book on science fiction films of the 1950s ever done. And so I helped him with promotion on that book. Okay. And so I got invited to a few parties. Dan O'Bannon was at one of these parties, and I'm a teenager, I'm like 18. And I'm like, I go, and I was well aware of It the Terror from Beyond Space. So I went up to him and I was like, hello, pleased to meet you, Dan O'Bannon. Um, and I said something like, "So how's that lawsuit with the Hit the Terror from Beyond Space going?" You know, I mean, there are a lot of similarities to that film and Alien. And he looked at me like he probably wanted to break his beer bottle over my head. He didn't say anything. He gave me the stare of death. So that just kind of was the thing about that at the party. Daniel Sweet, Michael Dodd. Yep. Eric Boyd on the scene. Hail horror, Mike. Hail to the mighty chat. Hello, Eric. Good to see you on the scene. Wiley J. Draws. I wish they made 50s type sci-fi plots with modern technology. This is what Starship Troopers was, in my opinion, and Tremors. Well, those are two more valid films. People might consider those in their top five. Seriously, I mean, Starship Troopers, great novel. I mean, it's one of the classics. Uh, Heinlein, Robert Heinlein is still considered. We could get into that, the greatest science fiction writers of all time, and Heinlein easily makes it into the top 10 of all time. There's no doubt about it. And Starship Troopers is one of his greats, no doubt. Although he wrote Stranger in a Strange Land is fantastic. I mean, he's actually written quite a few that are even better. Michael Taylor, Planet of the Apes, top 15. Yeah, absolutely. The original Planet of the Apes is fantastic. There's no denying it. That is just another one of those films that gets way up there. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, I know I'm going to sound obvious, but Star Wars, yes, Star Wars, people would include, pardon me, there is no doubt that people would include Star Wars in their list. Or The Empire Strikes Back, which I personally consider to be the best of all of the Star Wars films. One of those two they would include. There's no doubt about it. Eric Boyd says, Michael Taylor, same here. Daniel Sweet, the Lynch Metropolis is flawed but too goofy to be ignored. The Lynch Metropolis. Was that the one with the soundtrack? He took Metropolis and redid it? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, then you've got, let's see. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. That's tricky, isn't it? You've got David Cronenberg. I mean, all of the sci-fi horror stuff. I mean, The Fly. What is that? Well, the premise is solid science fiction. You would call The Fly from the 50s science fiction. As a matter of fact, I think it is under the science fiction mantle. And Cronenberg's The Fly is fantastic. There's several others there that people might consider in the science fiction realm, you know. So much to choose from and so much variation. Nobody has named any of my top 4 yet. Wow. Well, okay. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, that's the thing right there, Meyer. It's like there are so many. And that's why I was like, Jesus, we got to split this up from the 20th century to the 21st century, because it's hard enough to come up with the top 5 from the 20th century. Jesus. But it's impossible to, go to say all time. We have to go 20th and 21st century, guys. That's it. Sci-fi films, 20th and 21st century. Star Wars is considered more like space fantasy. Yeah, exactly. It is. It is a space fantasy. However, some consider it science fiction. It does get a little jumbled. But look, if somebody had it in their list, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think we could really deny it. We just say like, okay, this is legitimate. I Love Disney and Comics says, I thought of one of you don't hear it a lot. 12 Monkeys. Yeah, 12 Monkeys is another great film, man. God, you could keep going. And that's the whole thing. Once I started thinking about it this week, I was like, it's just freaking impossible, to go from what basically, if you're starting in the 1920s, 100 years of film, and you're trying to find 5 science fiction films. No way. So we have to go 20th and 21st century. Meyer Greenblatt says, except for Michael Taylor right now, Planet of the Apes is at the top of my list. Okay. Yeah, Planet of the Apes is great. Outlander. I loved that film. And that's something coming out of left field there. That's one of those films. Or do you mean Outland? The Sean Connery film? Or are you talking about the film kind of recent where the guy, he crashes on the planet and there's like Vikings and there's a creature that he's trying to hunt, but they're like, the creature's wiping out the Vikings. I thought it was really great. I love that film. Outland, which is the Sean Connery film, which is kind of High Noon or something. It's like a science fiction version of High Noon, I believe, with Sean Connery. It's great. I love that film. I remember seeing it in the theater, when it came out. Dreamcatcher. There's another one. That would be totally, yeah. Dredd. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about putting Dredd in my top 5 21st century Werewolf by Lunchtime because it is fantastic. It's one of my. I think it's one of the greatest. How would you say comic book to film adaptations ever made? That bar none, bar none. There's no doubt about that. That would be another list for another time too. Top 5 comic book adaptations. The more you think about it, there are tons of them. I mean, for decades, decades and decades. Uh, I remember that book. Not quite sure which one you're referring to. Maybe Dreamcatcher, Meyer. Um, Maybe Dread is more dystopian future. Yeah, but it is technically science fiction, though. That's just kind of a subgenre of science fiction, and it's totally legitimate. I'm heavily considering that as my 21st part of my top 5 21st century. It's great. I've seen it like a half a dozen times already, and I plan on seeing it many more times. I love that film. I wish they were idiots for not making a follow up. I mean, what the hell? Are you kidding? It didn't do well in the United States. If you can believe that, it apparently performed very poorly at the box office. Uh, Sucks. I cannot believe it, uh, because I thought it was just perfect. Really, like the perfect, I don't know what you call anti-heroes films. I don't know, something. I mean, let's put it this way: it did Judge Dredd proud. I mean, it's just, God, it hits right on. Right on the mark. Daniel Sweet. Joe Bob Briggs showed Alien and It, yeah, Terror from Beyond Space one night and enjoyed explaining the ripoff. Good stuff. Yeah, it's on YouTube, folks. Look up Joe Bob Briggs and It, the Terror from Beyond Space and see him break it down. You will be totally stunned at how similar both films, how similar Alien is to It, the Terror from Beyond Space. Meyer Greenblatt says, I really like Dredd. Yeah, Dredd is fantastic. It's just a great freaking movie, man. All the way around. There is no BS in that film. It's just all the way fantastic. I love Disney and comics. Oh, man, imagine how hard this would be with TV shows. Oh, God. Oh, good Lord. We may have to do that, though, in the future. I have a feeling we're going to have to do that because there's a ton. I would, for instance, immediately say, of course, The Twilight Zone, which wasn't always science fiction, but they had a lot of science fiction, of course. I might consider The Outer Limits in that, the original Outer Limits. But then you've got The X-Files, you've got Farscape, as you say here, Firefly, which was the series, which I think the whole series is on Tubi, which is great. The original Star Trek, of course, fantastic. Babylon 5, Stargate. There's a ton of them, man. There are a ton of them. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, I grew up reading 2000 AD, Meyer. Some great stories there. Yeah, 2000 AD is great. I've got I don't know, at least 8 or 10, Judge Dredd comic books from back in the day, the 80s. I love them. They're great. I want to get more. I just haven't. I got some on eBay, reasonably priced. So I got to, it's one of those things you kind of got to look and, find the like corresponding issues. There's a ton of them. And Jesus, that's just the Judge Dredd comic books, the 2000 AD. They have the compendiums, right? Those archive volumes of it, I believe. I got to get some of that. I love the Judge Dredd world, the universe of Judge Dredd. It's just it's great. And I know that, like, For instance, in the Dredd movie, there's very little comedy. Now there's comedy in the 2000 AD and in the Judge Dredd comic books. They went very serious. I mean, they went really. It's still got a real, I don't know, over the top action type of thing in certain parts, but it's not. They were not aiming for comedy like they were aiming for comedy with the one with Sylvester Stallone, but it was the kind of the wrong kind of comedy. I think they weren't getting the 2000 AD vibe. And God, it would be great. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but Dread is actually a British film. They got people, actors like Carl Urban in there, to play Dread and so forth, but it's a British film. And I mean, I think that was the whole thing, right? They hit it on the head. They knew exactly, they knew the subject matter. And the Stallone thing was a Hollywood film. So they just took Judge Dredd and they were like, we'll just do whatever the hell we want. I'm not knocking it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining, but you know. Daniel Sweet says Dredd is one of the best comic adaptations. Yes, absolutely. It's great. Sorry. Oh, Dune. Dune comics adaptation. Are you okay? Well, Dune was Frank Herbert novel. That was originally I believe in 1965 that won the Nebula and Hugo awards. I think. Westworld. Oh my God. That's totally in. I thought about that. That's in my mix, Michael Taylor. It should be in many people's. Westworld is fantastic. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there are them from the 1950s. Them is just a incredible film. It's an incredible science fiction film. It's great, man. I mean, God, it's so well. The thing about them is that it's so well done. That's the thing with science fiction. You know how that goes, man. Obviously, okay, if the effects for the time are very good, if they redid it and they didn't screw it up, they could do really great effects today, for the ants and so forth. Michael Dodd says, yeah, there are a lot of subgenres that splinter off of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy. Yeah, probably more fun to keep it simple and let the person making the list decide what genre their choices are. Yeah, look, and we got to do that because basically what it is that we start talking about, we say, well, Alien's more horror. Well, it still is science fiction. It's absolutely, you can't argue that. It is science fiction. It's science fiction. It's horror. It's science fiction horror, right? So that's valid. Anything with any science fiction element in it, do it. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, come on, it's there's we'll go insane trying to trying to whittle it down. Yeah, it feels like there's 4 subgenres at least within sci-fi. Michael Taylor, Back to the Future is totally legit science fiction. Here we go with more. Total Recall, The Fifth Element. Both of them are really good. Punisher War Journal was a perfect adaptation, but it bombed too. Can't figure out War Journal. Was it Punisher War Zone? Was that the one with Ray Stevenson as the Punisher? I love that film, by the way. If that's the one you're talking about, Punisher Warzone. Really, I mean, obviously, it didn't have nearly the budget of the first one, but Ray Stevenson is great as the Punisher. I thought he was actually better than the other guy. Werewolf by Lunchtime. The Dredd compendiums are called case files, right? They collect every Dredd story and are still being collected, I would imagine. I mean, you're talking, it's good God, decades of material, right? Decades. It's just incredible. And Carl Urban, by the way, Werewolf, Carl Urban's like, hey, I still want to do a second Dredd film. Get me in there. He could do it. Have you seen him in the Boys? I have not watched that series, but I've seen some clips. He's in it. He still looks like he could totally do Dredd. He hasn't. It's been 10 years. Guy still looks young and ready to, like reasonably young. Dredd is not that young, of a character, but Urban is just, he is Dredd. There's something about that dude. Not only that, but he never takes his helmet off. It's perfect. That's the thing about the Stallone version. He has to take his helmet off and say, hey, look, it's me, Sly Stallone. And Urban's like, screw that, man. I am playing Dredd to the bone. My helmet does not come off. That's, that's an actor right there. That is acting. Daniel Sweet, Dune, the Lynch version. Yeah, well, you could put that. People might put that in there. There are good things in that. There are bad things. What can I say? It's like, it's got this thing when you watch it, you're like, oh, that's really great. And then suddenly there's this thing and you're like, what? What the heck? It's a mixed bag, I would call Lynch's Dune. Meyer Greenblatt, I have a couple of Dredd six scale figures. Wow. Dredd and Anderson, unlicensed from China. China. Yes. I will show them soon in a video now that I know how many people enjoy the movie. Oh, dude, you've got to do a video about that. Good God. That sounds freaking awesome, man. That would be great. Werewolf says, I look forward to that, Myra. Yeah, that'd be a great video. Michael Taylor, when I said top 5 sci-fi movies of all time, I said to myself, it's impossible to come up with the top 5. Yes, indeed. Well, it's still like we gotta like almost, we got a day and a half, folks. We have a day and a half to come up with the top 5. We're gonna nail it. We are going to nail it. I have a feeling that, if we get at least 5 or 6 other people other than myself with lists, we compare those lists, we're going to come up with our top 5 of the 20th century and 21st. I mean, there are films in the 21st century like Primer, a film made for $8,000 in 2005, which is one of the greatest time travel films I've ever seen. There are really no special effects in it. It's just one of the greatest concepts and screenplays, acting, everything. It is fantastic. Primer. If you get a chance, see that film. Also, Coherency, made for $15,000. Once again, no special effects to speak of, but what a great science fiction film that is. And these are films, they're just like saying, screw you, Hollywood. We can make a great piece of science fiction. We don't need your big budgets. Okay. We don't need it. Yeah. Daniel Sweet. Yep. Warzone. That is, it's good. I love that, man. I love that film. Warzone. Michael Dodd. I watched them a few days ago. So good. Fess Parker is hilarious, trying to stay out of the loony bin. Yeah. Oh God. There's some really great comedic points in them. I mean, just a few things that are just fantastic, spot on. And the suspense in the first 30 minutes is just the atmosphere that is created in them is unforgettable. Long before you see an ant, it is just, you get this sense of foreboding and dread that is just it's great, man. That's why it's in my short list to be in the top 5. Them is definitely there. It's just a fantastic film. Science fiction film. A fantastic science fiction film. And definitely I would I might say the greatest giant insect or giant monster film of the 1950s. Well, maybe giant insect. Godzilla was in there. Godzilla is something else. I would say the giant insect films, all of those, the beginning of the end and Deadly Mantis and all that. I think them is, I mean, there were a few other good ones. Tarantula is pretty good, but still. The Boys is great, but Urban's British accent is hit and miss. Yeah, I just haven't seen the show. I don't have the whatever channel that's on. Eric Boyd says Carl Urban was badass in The Boys. Push aside all of the agenda insertions, but Urban is really a joy to watch. Back to Dredd. Yeah, Urban was fan freaking tastic. Great movie. Yeah, he could still do it. Somebody should just pull their heads out of their butts. Elon Musk. Hey, look, 20 million. No, 20 million. What am I saying? $100 million is not that much for Elon Musk. He should freaking produce another Dredd movie and just keep out of it and let the original, you know, uh, writers, cast, and crew get on with it. Just give him 100 million. Let him do a great movie. Because nobody else is, apparently. Nobody's going to take another. They're not going to take a chance on Dredd. I don't know what the box office was on that, the final. It didn't do very well here, anyways. Because, sometimes, well, America is just, I don't know, retarded or something. But Eric Boyd says there has been a push for a sequel to Dredd. Yeah, there has been a push. People have been screaming. A lot of people here in the United States have been like screaming about it, like including me. Like, hey, God, he's doing and obviously, Carl Urban wants to do it. I just, I don't get it. I think the first Dredd had like a $50 million budget. Somebody may know that. Correct me if I'm wrong. All of that money was on the screen. Whatever the hell the budget was, it was there. It was on the screen. I hope it happens, but it probably never will. I know. Yeah, it's because these freaking, the pencil pushers, the suits, who decide what, especially with these big budget films, all they do is crunch numbers. They don't give a shit if something's really great or not. And with these crap ass MCU and DCU movies that come out that make them $1 billion or whatever, they're just going to keep doing that crap. If it keeps making them money, that's what they're going to do. And they're just going to be like, yeah, screw that. I mean, they have to, I don't know, they reach a certain point with the, profits. And then they're like, yep, okay, we're doing a sequel to that. And Dredd just did not hit that, sadly. Eric materialized. Sorry for bad grammar. It's all right. Did you know Judge Dredd's name is Joe? Yeah, I did. I heard that. I didn't read it in the comic book, but somebody else was talking about that. Pardon me. Yeah, Joe. So there you go, Joe Dredd, right? It's great. I mean, they could take, what they could just, well, I don't know. They should do a live action. I would also like to see an animated series of Judge Dredd. They should go back to the 2000 AD stuff and just start from there. Somebody should just take $1 billion and say, look, here, do a couple of live actions and do a whole lot of animated films, like Akira level animation. That's what I'm talking about. Akira level animation. Meyer Greenblatt. I loved them as a kid. The beginning, the opening was frightening me as a kid. Yeah, when they're out in the desert and there's the storm, the sandstorm, and they discover the trailer that has this big rip out the side of it. That whole thing, it's just, you can't get any better than that. It's just the tenseness of it. I mean, the eerie dread, the foreboding of like, holy crap, what is doing this? It's just great. Yeah, the acting. Michael Dodd here, Jim Arness, James Whitmore sell the whole thing. You're absolutely true. And there's a lot of supporting actors that are top notch. You know, even the kids in the film are really great. They sell it. That kid, that, you know, the girl at the beginning of who they find, and, you know, she's traumatized. Jesus. You know, I mean, they just do. There's a lot of things that they do in them that other science fiction films did not do. That's simply put, you know. Yeah, Michael Taylor, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. A lot of people would put that in there. There's no doubt about that, man. You know, that's yet another one. Battle Beyond the Stars. Yeah. Richard Thomas, that was a Roger Corman produced film. Which was kind of a knockoff, you know. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was. You know, once again, Corman's, you know, his ability to, let's say, how should I say, be heavily inspired by blockbuster movies. To, you know, Corman, I guess, was the originator. He may have been the originator of what we call, in modern terms, the mockbuster. Lower budget films that copy, you know, bigger budget hits. Werewolf by Lunchtime, they need to do the Judge Death storyline. Oh my God, that would be freaking awesome. The Judge Death storyline, man, it is so great. They got to do it. It would be so awesome, man. I mean, I love that stuff. Now, Michael Taylor, E.T. once again. I love E.T. Yeah, that's another one of those films. You know, there's so many, and they really started piling them on. Uh, you know, in the '80s. Obviously, there are a ton of them in the '80s. God, you know, it's mind-boggling, really, once you start thinking about it. Michael Dodd, speaking of hot special effects, Carolyn Monroe in Star Crash. Oh, Stella! Oh, Stella! Yes, indeed. My God. Oh, yeah. Carolyn Monroe. Good Lord. Werewolf by Lunchtime says they would never allow the League of Fatties story from Judge Dredd. Nowadays, Daniel, fat people with a wheel under their belly to help them walk around. Yeah. Let's put it this way. And there's another thing, too, is that, yeah, Judge Dredd is totally not PC. So you're absolutely right, Werewolf. A lot of stuff in 2000 AD, and even in those 1980s, 90s comics, there is no way in hell they would allow that stuff. Well, let's put it this way: the suits would get, you know, immediately they would have the flying purple unicorn screaming about, you know, something or whatever, and yeah, I don't, you know, they try to turn Judge Dredd trans and all. You know it. They would do that shit. Uh, how about Mars Attacks? So yeah, funny as hell. Of course, there's some science fiction comedies that are just great, man. You know, there's no doubt about that. And I mean, yeah, God, it gets tricky once again. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I consider just what I would say that's a science fiction horror comedy. That's what I would call it. Mars Attacks, same way. I think they're incredibly successful, you know, with what they're doing. Eric Boyd says, "What? No love for Santa Claus conquers the Martians." We could do a five worst. There's some food for thought, my friends. The five worst science fiction. Of course, there were so many bad ones, and we're going to see some of those tonight. We're about ready to go on the board here, folks, and you're about to see some stuff that, well, you may not be able to unsee. That's all I'm saying right now. Meyer says, I'm really fond of Robinson Crusoe on Mars. There's another one. Terminator. Pardon me. Terminator is another one. I mean, we could kind of keep going on and on. There was a movie called The Hidden. Uh, this is, God, I want to say late 80s, early 90s, right in there. It's called The Hidden. It's a little bit like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing, but it's different and it's fantastic. It's another sleeper film. There were a lot of sleeper science fiction films. Michael Dodd says, "Yep, Meyer Robinson Crusoe on Mars is really good." Yes, indeed. Now, folks, we're going to take a little gander over. Now, I did look at Canopy. They really didn't get much, unfortunately. This for this weekend. So we're going to Tubi. We're going direct to Tubi, and we're gonna start taking a look at these things. Yeah, there, Michael Dodd, Pitch Black. I loved that film. That was the best, obviously. Well, it's actually the what I would consider to be the best Vin Diesel film. The best film he's ever been in is Pitch Black. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's a really good piece of science fiction, you know. Here we go, folks. We are, whoo, we're gonna dive into the Tubi here. Pardon me, Meyer. Oh, good. I love Tubi is just killing it. They're killing everybody. Tubi is wiping out everybody. There is nobody that is coming close. I mean, look, let's put it this way. It's not that the how should I say this? If you're a lover of 70s, 80s, 90s exploitation films or low budget horror science fiction films, Tubi is the way. And a lot of people know that. Millions of people are catching on that they're just blowing everybody out of the water. Everybody is getting it's just amazing because they're making deals with Severn Films and with a few other, distributors of these particular types of films. As you will see, there's a lot more new Severn stuff that was added. But let's start off with a new one. Yeah, this one, Wowzers. I had to watch it because it was like a David Lynch nightmare. Well, it's more like just a nightmare. Okay, folks, it's 38 minutes. It felt like it was 2 hours long. Um, it's one of those films that, you see, what people don't understand about David Lynch is that he doesn't try to be weird. He is weird. He just exists. David Lynch is David Lynch. His vision is weird, and he's not trying. That's what his vision is. These guys are trying to be weird, and when you try to be that way, it just comes off as crap. That's all I got to say. 1987. You guys ever heard of this one? Necropolis. Now you're looking at the poster and you're like, hey, that's pretty hot. Hot chick on a motorcycle, the undead coming up from the streets there. I watched this film. No, it is not this. It's the chick is there. There's a bit of a punk rock element to this film. It's Full Moon. Now, Full Moon has been picking up a lot of these films too for distribution. You guys may have noticed. A satanic witch killed in the 1600s comes back to the 1980s, posing as a biker babe and taking the souls of crooks, prostitutes, and drug addicts. So there you go. And that's really it. It has nothing to do with Necropolis or City of the Dead. Okay. And zombies rising from the freak. No, there is very, very little of that. And it's just kind of a hot mess. Now there's some really great TNA in this film. Not much, but there is some good stuff. I'll just say that, and that's about the only thing that's really worth it. Curse of the Crimson Altar, 1968, folks. This is Boris Karloff, Barbara Steele, Christopher Lee, Michael Gough. Okay. I mean, if you haven't seen this, you guys have probably all seen this film. Let's watch a little bit of it, shall we?
Stop!
Woohoo! Oh, yes.
I am Lavinia, mother of the mysteries, keeper of the black secret.
Just had to show you guys a little bit of that Curse of the Crimson Altar in case you haven't seen it before. You've really got to see this film. Okay. It's really well worth seeing once, twice, three times. 1968. In search of his missing brother, Robert Manning is led to a remote country house that he believes may be tied to the legend of the Black Witch. Okay. It's visually compelling. Should I say that? I think that's the way to put it. It's got some great, they were starting to get really kind of saucy with it. Curse of the Crimson Altar. I definitely recommend that film. Okay, Strix 2021. I have not seen this film. It looks very much like these guys are doing a modern day, they're going back to the 70s, 80s, doing an exploitation type of thing. Bootleg films. There you go. Strix, in the cursed month of October in 1978, a cult of witches collides with a psychotic bounty hunter in a whirlwind of blood-soaked insanity. Now, you've got people in it like Brink Stevens is in this. Okay. Yeah, that's the only name I really recognize. But I'm going to watch it. I'm going to, or at least try to watch it. It might be good. It might be good. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Um, let's get back to the chat here for a second. I've missed quite a few. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's where we left off. Werewolf by Lunchtime. How about The Fly? Yeah, I'd mentioned that earlier. Science and fiction both heavily. Yeah, David Cronenberg. You've got The Fly, films like Dead Ringers. Once again, science fiction. There's no doubt. His thing is it's kind of like science fiction in relation to body horror. That's kind of where David Cronenberg, that's his little world there where he kind of, revolves around. And it's great. I mean, Cronenberg is freaking awesome. I love all of his films. It doesn't matter if it's science fiction or drama, like A History of Violence, or what was that one about the Russian mob? It was really good, man, with Viggo Mortensen. Eastern Promises. Eastern Promise, just great because Cronenberg is a great director. What a freaking master. Cocoon, there's another one. Michael Taylor. Yep. Meyer says lots of great old TV like Logan's Run and Tarzan with Ron Eli. Yeah, there's a ton of that. Is Tubi free? Yes, of course. It is indeed. You may not get it where you're at. If you're in Australia, Werewolf, um, I don't know. You've just got to go to tubitv.com and see if it comes up for you. Mike, check out The Last Case of August T. Harrison. The Last Case of August T. Harrison? What? Okay, I'm going to have to look. I'm sorry, folks. Give me a second because I'm going to forget about that. I need to look it up now. Ah, crap. God, I don't like the new Tubi layout at all, man. I think they're really screwed up on this. Ugh. Horrible. The last case of, let's see if that works. Oh, there it is. I've added it. Great. Thank you, Michael Dodd. And I do have a few other quote unquote Lovecraft films coming up. Not so good, I'm afraid. Closing Hurdle 99 says Werewolf, it's free, but it's US only, so you need a VPN. Right on. That is it. You need a VPN, Werewolf, and you're in. I highly recommend it. It's worth getting a VPN. It's absolutely worth it. God, it's just hard to believe the amount of films that they have. Eric Boyd, nice. Michael Dodd, Barbara Steele is green. Yeah, she's just great, man. Love Barbara Steele. When a problem comes along, you must whip it. Yeah, yeah. That chick with the dominatrix chick with the big hooters. It's just it's an extra in that film, in The Curse of the Crimson Altar, The Curse of the Double D's. I'm telling you. Meyer says, I'm watching this tonight. Yes, it's great, man. Curse of the Crimson Altar is just, I mean, okay, I should stop. It's not great. It's very good, and it's worth watching. I have to kind of pull back a little bit on that. Eric says, you must whip it. Yes, indeed. Michael Dodd, I wonder if Brink gets, ooh, I don't know. I don't know, man. Hard to say, Michael Dodd. Videodrome. That's Jesus Christ, man. I would immediately put. I'm glad you mentioned that because I had forgotten. That's in my top 10, 20th century, no doubt. It may be whittled down into my top 5. That's just fantastic science fiction. Daniel Sweet, Michael Dodd. Hope Brooke kept her clothes on. She's getting up there. Yeah, that's why I kind of like caught myself on that. Yeah, Dr. Brian Oblivion. Man, you know, and James Woods. God, he's so damn good in that film. Just freaking, you know, I am the new flesh or whatever the hell it is. It's great. It is just so great, man. Television is the retina of the mind's eye, as he says there. Um, Michael Dodd, Daniel. Michael Dodd, yep, them screen queens have been screaming for a long time. Things are starting to shrill up and sag. Yes, indeed. Werewolf by Lunchtime just downloaded the Tubi app, tried it out, and it works in Oz. Yes. Congratulations, Werewolf by Lunchtime. You will not regret it. You're going to just, you will not believe what you're going to find. I'm going to show you some stuff. As a matter of fact, I got a few Australian films in this lineup. One of them is which is just fantastic. I love it. I've seen it several times. It's a 90s science fiction film, which could be once again classified as science fiction horror. And it is great. Great film. Michael Taylor, Linda Carter said the Wonder Woman costume kept falling down. Whew, I would have loved to have been on the set. Good Lord. Okay. Let's get back to it, folks. So we've covered those. Now we're going up to, this is a film 2019, Under Control. Get it? Yeah, because there's a troll in here menacing this woman. I don't know. I've not seen it. It's a new film. I'm going to check it out. That's all I'm saying. Oops, you're a vampire. I love the title. I love the title. It's got some good horror comedy vibes to it. It's 2022. It's brand new. Who knows? I don't know. It could be good. You know, Vampire Camp. Boy, there's a lot of vampire films. Of course, they're the easiest to do, right? Just plug in some teeth and away you go. Get a little stage blood. Vampire Camp, which looks totally Z budget. from 2012 could be funny, you know. Then we go to 1977, Mario Bava's Shock with Daria Nicolodi and John Steiner. Folks, okay, Shock. There it is. It's a laser film production. Look at that. Look at that 70s goodness, folks. Look at that. Jesus. Dun-dun-dun. I mean, no one will be seated. Oh, Lamberto Bava on the scene, writing a little story and screenplay. Okay, they're no goblin, but it's all right. Oh my God! All right, I'm gonna kind of give you guys a break with that. But as you can see, Shock. I don't know. I don't remember it. If I've seen it, I don't remember it. 1987, The Majorettes. You got anybody with this movie? The Majorettes, 1987. A hooded psycho is murdering high school girls. A devil-worshipping, drug-dealing biker gang is suspected. Okay? That's what's going on there. Media blasters coming in. Let's see if we can find something. Oh my God, we did.
Stay all night when the feeling there is alright.
Okay, I'll be watching that one. Okay, folks, that's The Majorettes. I'm going to be watching that movie. There's no doubt about that. Cat and the Canary. Now, this is another version with Honor Blackman and Olivia Hussey from 1978. Folks, any takers there? Anybody know what? Yeah, have you ever seen that film? I've seen the trailer. Never saw the movie. But I don't know. I saw trailer. I mean, it's hard to beat the original. I love the original film. But once again, though, Honor Blackman, Olivia Hussey, good actresses in there. So I don't know. Not sure. Martian Massacre 2020. I don't know. I just had to put it on here. That's all there is to it. I had to put it on here. With her homeland destroyed, Commander Virago is sent to Earth by her queen to protect the box, quote unquote, from the evil Martian army leader Zeet. Okay, there you go. It looks like it's oh, let's take a look. Here we go, some spaceships.
My queen, you wanted to see me.
Indeed. As you're well aware, we are under attack. Emperor Demas is becoming more restless by the day.
It seems so.
Holy shit. Okay, that was Martian Massacre. Now, of course, 1978. Now, here's a comedy, Your Vampire Hookers from 1978, starring, of course, John Carradine. And he is just.
She, meanwhile, with strawberry lips cajoles, and like an asp writhing on burning coals. Moist are my lips, and I can lull to sleep thine ancient conscience in my couches deep. I am so learned in the amorous art, that when men I crush to my dreaded heart, or to their mumbling kisses bear my bust, so frail, so bold, so shy, and so robust, that impotent angels damn themselves for me.
Okay, it's been years since I've seen Vampire Hookers. I'm going to watch it again. I love John Carradine. It's, the thing about Carradine is that he did manage to salvage a lot of those bad films that he was in. This is a horror comedy, so it could be well worth it. Great news, werewolf. There's ads. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, the story's on you. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, I'm actually English, but emigrated 16 years ago. Okay. Meyer says, great news, werewolf. There's ads, but they aren't too bad. Yeah, they're not. They really aren't. They're definitely not anywhere near as bad as typical cable TV ads. God. Michael Dodd, yeah, Tubi is very light on the ads. Much less expensive than cable. Hell yeah. Werewolf, I'm looking forward to checking it out, Meyer. Lots of scrolling and searching. Oh God. You're gonna go down a few rabbit holes in Tubi. Let me put it that way, Werewolf. It's great. Don't play too much. Yeah, you gotta be a little careful with the playing of the stuff. I'm just trying to give you guys on some of these. I like to play like 30 seconds, just so you guys get an idea, as to what's going on. Michael Taylor, the Linda Carter costume story is on YouTube. Okay. Michael Dodd, I have Shock on Blue Underground DVD, Ivan Razumov of Cannibal Flick fame. Okay. Meyer says, Majorette's creepily added to my list. Yeah. I'm telling you. Media Blasters equals Shriek Show. Love me some Olivia Hussey. Yes, indeed. Black Christmas. Man, I think one of the greatest films she was ever in. Black Christmas, one of my favorite horror films. Daniel Sweet, Vampire Hookers, John Carradine, and lots of gratuitous nudity. Well, indeed, on my list, it's going to stay there. You're absolutely right. Honor Blackman was pussy galore. You guys have to correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't she also in the Avengers? Didn't she take over for Diana Rigg? Wasn't she in the Avengers for like a season, or was it before Diana Rigg or after? I could have sworn. Maybe I'm mistaken. Michael Dodd, Nix on Martian Massacre. God, good Lord, man. Martian Massacre looks so bad. I have to watch it. I know. Some of those, it can be that way. It can be a bit of that. Wonder whose garbage Martian garage. Wonder whose garage Martian Massacre was filming. Yeah, you can tell it because, like, the background when those two, like, apparently the guy just got his sisters or friends or whatever to act in there, and the background is supposed to be like some stone background, but it's obviously curtains that are printed with this, and they're like, you can see the folds in there. Yikes. Meyer Greenblatt says, every time I see John Carradine at this point in his life, ugh, I feel bad for him to still have to be working in front of those hot lights. Yeah, he was getting on. Daniel Sweet says, Honor Blackman was before Diana Rigg. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and so there you go. And she's a hottie. I mean, not not exactly like Diana Rigg, but still, Honor Blackman. Come on, let's give her a bit of her due there. She deserves some applause. Severn Films coming in with Beyond the Darkness, Beyond the Darkness, Beyond the Darkness. Apparently, it's a Joe D'Amato special, folks. There's a few Joe D'Amatos in there. Yes, indeed. Oh, they always get me with that soundtrack. Look at that freaking van, man. Papa. Dun, dun, dun. Wait a second. That soundtrack sounds very familiar. I think it was one from another one of his movies. After an embalmer's girlfriend dies, he decides to bring her body to his family home, where even more bloody madness and insanity ensues. It's Joe D'Amato. Devil's Nightmare, folks. It is the Devil's Nightmare. 1971. A busload of tourists find themselves on a detour that leads them to a gloomy castle where they must spend the night with a satanically cursed baron. And that's what we're talking about there. 1971 film Devil's Nightmare. I do love the poster on that. That's what kind of caught my eye. This just monotone kind of thing. The woman's face, the scar. It was pretty good. I like that poster. So it's on my list. Now, this one's a little different, folks. The Green Fairy. This is a documentary. I had to put it on here because you might find it interesting. Now, the first thing that caught my eye, Adler and Associates. Adler and Associates hounded me to get Witch Tales for distribution. I mean, they're for months. They sent me like half a dozen emails, and I'd send them back. I would respond to them. I'd be like, "Oh, that's very interesting. So, how much money am I getting up front?" And of course, this is not what Adler does. Adler is one of these distributors that says, "Oh yeah, we saw your film. We really loved it. We'd love to take it for domestic and international distribution." And what they do is they package it with 50 other low budget movies. And then they take that and they sell it to, let's say, Japan. Okay, let's say they sell that package to Japan for $100,000. So your movie may have gotten $2,000 out of that deal, but of course that's minus their fees, and their fees are usually $20,000 to $40,000 up front for foreign market fees for each movie. That's how they ream you. They just freaking ream you. And so I just kind of played with them for a while. I went back and forth with them, and until I went through 3 different people, because apparently I was just pissing people off, and they passed me to somebody else. And one guy was like, "Yeah, but Witch Tales doesn't have a star in it, so it's not like we can give you money up front." And I tell him, I'm like, "Look, I spent 2 years of my life writing and pre-production and producing, making this film. You're going to give me money, or I'm not giving you my movie. What the hell do you think this is?" That's basically what it comes down to, folks. You make a film, you put a lot of time and energy and some money into it. Don't give these bastards your movie. We suffered that before, a couple of times, and went through the hell of just never really seeing a dime. We have been paid for a couple of films. Back in the 90s, we actually saw money, which is great. And in the 90s, it was awesome because you would have, like, for instance, a film it's still on Amazon, but when it was in distribution in the mid 90s, for example, Japan paid 25 grand for the rights for Cut Up. Okay. That was one country. We ended up grossing about $160,000. in international fees for a $28,000 film. So that gives you, today it is gone. All of that shit is gone. There is no more 20, unless you have a big ass, unless you have a movie that's making millions at the box office, it's big budget, or it has a star. If it's a low budget film, forget it. Cut Up was just a low budget film. It was a $28,000 film with nobody in it. No names. We had local actors, theater actors, a few people that had film experience. That was it. But it was so much easier for distribution back in the day. So in any case, Green Fairy, Adler, documentary, an exploration of the beautiful mythical creature known as the Green Fairy, who has been making herself visible to absinthe drinkers for generations. Okay, now that's kind of interesting. Okay, look at who's in it. Richard Grieco, Mindy Robinson, Roddy Piper. Keep in mind this is 2016. Must have been shortly before he passed away. Linda Blair is in this. What the hell? So I've kept it. I'm going to have to check it out a bit. You may find it interesting. Okay, so we got Wonder Woman here, folks. 1973. How many people? Oh God, I've lost. Oh, here we go. Hide. Oops, sorry about that. Shit. There we go. God. Okay, sorry guys. Hide the chat. Well, a little late, but Michael Dodd. Ooh, Devil's Nightmare with Erica Blanc. Yeah, I'm not aware of that film. I'm gonna watch it though, Michael Dodd. It looks interesting. I love the poster. Daniel Sweet. Beyond the Darkness is grisly and creepy. If you are easily disturbed, be careful. Okay. All right. Cool. Go away. There you are. Oh, still here. Yay. Yes, indeed. We're cruising through some of the new Tubi films. And there are quite a few. Welcome, Go Away. Michael Dodd. Right, Daniel. Beyond the Darkness is pretty extreme. Wow. Entertaining, but not for the faint of heart, as they say. Oh, it sounds like a challenge. Go Away says, I'll catch up, indeed. Michael Taylor Smart, thinking Mike. What? Did I say something smart? I don't know. I don't remember. Good Lord. Things that are, I can't, are those hamburgers? I'm not quite sure. Daniel Sweet. At first I thought the Green Fairy was my neighbor's biography. Yeah. Buio Omega. Scott St. Pierre comes in with that. Okay. Is that an alternative name for that film, Scott? Could be. Beyond the Darkness is an essential gore film. Is that the alternative title? Could be. Essential gore film. I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching it. I will need to retire early if I'm going to watch all these movies. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Thank you, Scott Pierre. Italian version. Okay. All right. Scott Pierre says it's the Italian version. What? I mean, there's no other version of it. Wasn't it Italian? I'm a little confused on that one. But in any case, I'm gonna play the Wonder Woman trailer again for people that missed it. You got to see this. It's a fantastic trailer. So I'm gonna mute me. Oh.
Are you ready for the most dangerous women on Earth? They were called the Wonder Women, the most expert hit team this side of the underworld. Wonder Woman stars Nancy Kwan as the incredible and invincible Dr. Sue. She specializes in most unusual medical experiments.
It is possible for me to transplant any part of the human body.
Any part?
Any part.
Boss Hagen is Mike Harbour. He'll work for anyone, do anything, if the price is right. Mike is marked for death in everyone's book. Some because he asked too many questions, others because he knows too many answers. Wonder Woman is new action. Wonder Woman is new excitement, new adventure. Blasting the screen at a pulse-pounding pace that never lets up. The Wonder Women. Beautiful, luscious, mysterious dolls, trained by the sinister dragon lady to do as they were told. They were killers, a sisterhood of death. But they were also women. You never know what they'll come up with next. Maybe a kiss in the dark, maybe a knife in the back. One man thought he could stop them, but they took him apart, piece by piece.
'70s. Oh my God, that is just too good. I mean, now that is an action-packed trailer, folks, right there. It's just got everything. It's Wonder Women, and you best believe I'm going to be watching this one. Good God, that is just too good. Oops. What? Oh, Michael Taylor. I was referring to yeah, screw them. They're not going to get, look, yeah, these companies nowadays, they just expect you to give them your film. That's it. They're just like, oh yeah, once you get past the $30,000 for the market fees and the other assorted fees that we're going to charge you, then you'll start seeing money. Total bullshit. Yeah. So it is absolutely, it's ask any low budget filmmaker today, distribute the movie yourself. Screw the middleman. Okay? That's all there is to it, because look, here's how it works. If I make my movie, right? Witch Tales. The budget was $9,000. Shot it in Peru. I made 300 limited edition Blu-rays. Sold them for an average of $10. I averaged, like, I don't know, $8, let's say, profit overall, that I made. So that's 300, almost 300 sold. 3 times 8 is $2,400 of the $9,000 on the Blu-rays alone. Now I've got it up. It's currently renting. You can see where this is going, right? I'm getting the money. It's not this fucking company that's getting the money. I'm getting it. And, yeah, okay, they could get into other markets and make $10, $20, $30,000. I'm still not going to see a dime until all of that, their fees are paid. It's just a complete hoax. Scott St. Pierre says, it used to be chopped up back in the day along with Dr. Butcher, MD, and the Dario Argento films finally got released uncut with the DVD boom. Okay. Go away. Wow, this is right up my alley. Indeed. Wonder Woman looks like it was inspired by Ted V. Michaels movies. Daniel Sweet says, indeed. Yes, Beyond the Darkness is Joe Diamanto, rough stuff, torture, pornish. Watch out. Be aware, folks. Meyer, hey, go. Yep, that's my cup of tea. Michael Taylor, when I said smart thinking, Mike, I was referring to the movie company that contacted you. Yes. Yeah, that's the only, you can't do anything else about it. Just have fun with them if you want, and then tell them to piss off. Go away. That was amazing. Isn't it? Great trailer. I just loved that. That trailer is like, when you watch that trailer, you imagine like Quentin Tarantino going, yeah, that's it. That's exactly the thing that I love. And I'm going to make some movies exactly like that. And that's what he did, That's what he was. He just loves that aesthetic, that 70s aesthetic. And some of it's really great, some of it's not. You know how that is. It's kind of a mixed bag. Go Away is a Russ Meyer freak. Yeah, Russ Meyer made some really, really great films. You know, hilarious films. No doubt about that. So let's scroll on up. Okay, we come to a 1974 film called Icy Breasts. Yes, you're not hallucinating, folks. 1974, Icy Breasts, um, a chilling thriller of cold-blooded, heated. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Shit. A chilling thriller of cold blood and heated passion. That's Icy Breasts, folks. That's as far as I'm going with that. I just had to put it on here because I thought it was ridiculous. Icy Breasts. What? What? The Vampire's Night Orgy, 1973. Weird looking one. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what. Red Rocket Media. Red Rocket. Red Rocket. There's a lot of these Red Rocket films on here. I've noticed. That's another one. A group of tourists is waylaid in a small town when their bus breaks down. What they don't know is that the town is completely inhabited by vampires. There you go. That's the gist of it. Could be good. I don't know. The Vampire's Night Orgy, 1973. I'm always willing to try something. Here we go with Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, 1979. No, I don't know about this one. I'm sure it's got some great TNA in it, though. The sadistic great grandson of the original Dr. Jekyll kidnaps people and experiments on them with the aggression serum created by his predecessor. Directed by James Wood. Now, I didn't know he would. No, just kidding. It's James Wood, not James Woods. But I'll give it a go. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The Beast Inside Her, 1995, folks. Now, I was first attracted, of course, by that poster. That was the one thing. Now, it says, after an aristocratic woman inherits her family's castle, she transforms into an empowered creature with animal instincts and sensuality. I don't know, folks. It says horror fantasy thriller. I don't know. I don't know. I just like the poster. That's kind of nice there. It's leggy. It's got a certain thing going for it. Of course, here we go with a bit more Joe D'Amato and a bit more Severn for you. Absurd. You guys may be familiar with this. It's arguably one of his more popular titles. It's pretty sick. I mean, well, it's Joe D'Amato. What am I talking about? You can pretty much, there's some, classic scenes of well, gore, for lack of a better word. But it's Severn. Tubi has made a big deal with Severn. There is no doubt about that. This sadistic saga includes ill-fated nurses and babysitters, biochemical clergy, and the most memorable bloodshed scenes in Italian horror history. There you go. Absurd. 1981. See at your own peril. It's gory. Biohazard. This one they've had on for a while. I just had to add it because, you may want to check it out. This is Fred Olin Ray, folks, 1985. Fred Olin Ray, starring Aldo Ray and Fred Olin Ray. Okay, and of course, Angelique Pettyjohn. Oh, yes. This early 80s sci fi horror cult classic is about what happens when an alien monster tries to override a psychic's will and take over planet Earth. That's your biohazard right there, folks. Panic. I've seen this. It's a weird film. David Warbeck, 1983. I I don't know. It was interesting, weird, freaking movie with this weird creature. Uh, I kind of like the cinematography. It's very, very low budget. Panic. A scientist's experiment with a deadly bacteria goes awry and leaves him horribly deformed. The monstrous man then runs amok in his town. That's it. That's the gist of it, folks. It's worth seeing, in my opinion. 1983 horror sci-fi. Once again, getting into that sci-fi horror realm. Brimstone Incorporated. 2021, when I saw this, I was like, it's another one of those animated films. Excuse me, folks. God damn it. It's not. Okay. It's live action, and it's looks to be extraordinarily low budget. So that's just to tell you, just to let you know. Again, 2021, mutant vampires from the planet Neptune. Now, this trailer is on YouTube. You can check it out if you want. The vampire, they're selling it pretty closely. That's what they look like, kind of. I mean, to a certain degree, that's kind of accurate representation. So yeah, it's really, once again, it's very, 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 very low budget. Tin Can, I have not seen. 2020 horror sci-fi. I'm always, and this is a Dredd Central release. Okay. Tin Can 2020. As the world faces a deadly plague, a scientist on the brink of a cure awakens imprisoned in a metal chamber. She'll have to escape to save humanity. Michael Ironside is in this film, folks. It could be Canadian. It's possible. So in any case, that's Tin Can. I'm going to watch it and see what's going on. I like Michael Ironside a lot. Great actor. Great villain. Autopsy, 1975. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken, hold on. I am mistaken. Okay, I've got Astro Zombies and Body Melt. Okay. Well, let's take a look here. Oh, here we go. Michael Dodd says, Vampire's Night Orgy is classic Spanish horror by Leon Klimovsky. Oh, Spanish horror. Weird. Helga Line and Diana Zurakowska get nude for us. Nice. It's on my list. Maya Greenblatt. She looks hot, but the beast inside her is probably an STD. Indeed. Zinger. That's a zinger, Meyer. And indeed, I have to agree with that. Yeah, Autopsy, 1975. Interesting film. I don't know what to tell you. I've seen it. It's an Italian film. It says this Italian exploitation flick teams up a med student and a priest in an investigation of a rash of suicides that leads to one sadistic morgue tech. So there you go. Mimsy Farmer. Barry Primus is in this as well. Directed by Armando Crispino. That rings a bell. But in any case, I love the poster. I love the poster too. That is just great. Simple. It just kind of gets you. It kind of gets you into a gore mode type of thing. Really nice. Here we go. 1974. Craze, starring Jack Palance, folks. Trevor Howard, Julie Edge. Ring a bell? It's Jack Palance, 1974. A nutty antiques dealer starts to sacrifice women to an African idol, Chuku, whom he believes will provide him with immense wealth and power. Diana Dors is in this as well. I'm tempted. I think we're gonna have to. Oh, here we go. Homina. Nice.
Sacramento.
Yeah, there's some budget. Did we miss something?
In the name of the power, give of your generous bounty. Your bride.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they. Oh, really? Oh my God. It looks like they've heavily edited this film or something. Disappointing. Disappointing. I don't know. It looks like they kind of cut it down to. It says R now. I think it looks like they cut it to a PG-13 or something. Craze. It's Herman Cohen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about that one. Um, Daniel Sweet says the first part of Autopsy is bizarre. Yeah, it is bizarre. Saw it at drive-in theater, never forgot it. Yeah, it's it's worth seeing once, folks. Okay. Michael Dodd says I saw Craze hosted by Penny Dreadful. Wow. Wow, I would watch it. I would prefer to watch it like that, Michael Dodd. Apex Comics is on the scene. Hail Horror Mike. Hail Apex Comics. Apex Comics. Jack Palance, yes indeed. And it looks like a film that might be worth a watch, although it does look like they've edited the shit out of it. Meyer Greenblatt says, yeah, Craze looks good. Could be. Vampires from Planet Neptune, Apex, if you can believe that shit. I mean, what the hell? Yeah, it's I've seen a bit of it, and well, you'll just have to see it for yourself. Let's put it that way. But on to Zombie Women of Satan, folks. 2011 horror comedy romance. I don't know. I've never seen this film. I saw the cleavage and I had to save it. Well, Zombie Women of Satan. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for that. But let's get on to something really good. 1970s Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Dario Argento. Folks, this is just Dario Argento. Tony Musante, of course, is in this film. Susie Kendall. After witnessing the attempted murder of a Rome art gallery owner, an American writer and his girlfriend investigate as they're trailed by the killer. Now, I'm just going to kind of go in here. Yeah. We're just going to watch a little bit. Okay. Not giving anything away. I had to show that to you, folks. It's Argento. It's bird with the bird with the crystal plumage. You got to see this movie. If you like Argento, see this film. It's giallo. It's not horror, per se. It's giallo, but it is so cool. Such a good film. I love this freaking movie. Um, Apex Comics, these 70s B horror movie titles make great comic book ideas. Yes, indeed they can. Oh, Meyer Greenblatt says, wow, Tony Musante. Yes. Remember that movie with him that takes place on a subway car? He's the villain of Real Psycho. Yeah. What the hell was that? Michael Dodd, classic Giallo, bird with the crystal plumage. Yes, it's great, man. You got anybody you should really put this on your list. There's no doubt about it. You will not regret it. It's totally cool. It's just Argento, you know. I mean, that's all I can say. Runaway Nightmare, 1982. Okay, a peep, a Pepperbox production. Runaway Nightmare, 1982. Two dorky Nevada worm wranglers are kidnapped by a gang of beautiful women as part of a harebrained scheme to steal plutonium from the mafia. Anybody? Anybody on this one? 1982 Runaway Nightmare? Two dorky Nevada worm wranglers? What the hell? That's all I got to say. And I'm going to watch it. You better believe I'm going to watch that one. That is hilarious. Devils of Darkness, 1965. Right here. A Planet Film Production. God, 1965. Are you kidding me? I have not seen this film. In a French graveyard, Satanists perform an unspeakable ceremony to raise the dead vampire lord Count Sinistre. Sinistre, I guess. Or Sinistre. Sinistre, probably. It should be, in any case. Devils of Darkness, folks. I don't know. I don't know. You guys familiar with that one? It looks kind of interesting, actually. I'm definitely going to check it out. Here we go. El Santo in the Fist of Death, 1982. Shout Factory, another one that just keeps supplying the greatness. Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to watch just a little bit of this. Okay.
Santo, the Silver Masked Man, in the Fist of Death.
Let's just take a little gander.
It belongs to me too.
Whoa.
And the magic of the Star of Great Power will be mine. Understand? I will destroy you.
Ooh, what?
Each and every one of you.
Okay, it's the same actress. Are they twins? What's going on there? Okay. Look, man. Oh, here we go.
Area will be pleased.
God, it's a incredibly, it looks like it's been restored, maybe. Okay, that's all I'm. What? Okay, we're gonna get into this a little bit.
My sister has let evil take hold of her. We need help.
We have to speak to the Oracle.
The Star of Great Power has been stolen by your own sister.
She dared to do it? But who can help us, Oracle?
Look like C-3PO.
Thank you, Great Oracle.
We beg you to send that man soon to us.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of whatever the hell that was. Oh yeah, I gotta escape. Oh yeah, El Santo and the Fist of Death, 1982. It looked pretty clean, and there's definitely some mega cleavage going on. It is TVPG, so unlikely there is nudity, but there's plenty of titillation, which is of course important uh, in for your viewing pleasure. Now, Deathstalker 2 is just freaking awful. I the greatest thing about Deathstalker 2 is this poster, folks. That's it right there. This poster is the best thing about it. It could be it kind I mean, I don't know. Is it Boris? I don't know. I'm not quite sure who did the art on this, but I love the poster. Watch the movie. God, holy Toledo, is it bad? The Living Dead Girl, 1982. You guys know this one? Is that where Rob Zombie got the title for his song, Living Dead Girl? I don't know. Oh, it's Redemption Films. Boy, they're getting into some obscure stuff here. Let's take a quick look. See what we got here. I mean, oh, what happened? What? Oh, okay. All right, that's pretty much enough for that. Terror at Red Wolf Inn, 1972, folks. Once again, Red Rocket Media on the scene. What the hell happened? They don't have any thing for this. It's kind of weird. They have no description. Terror at Red Wolf Inn. In any case, that's 1972. It kind of looks interesting. Once again, I've never seen it. Something they've just added. Mad Doctor of Zombie Island, 1995. I'm going to get back to the chat here for a second because I know you guys have got some stuff going on. Michael Taylor says, "Yeah, remember this is Tubi. They will edit anything R-rated. Yeah, but sometimes Michael Taylor they don't. Sometimes they let it go with the R, and there's a lot of nudity. It's really weird with Tubi. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Hide the chat once again. Meyer Greenblatt. It was called The Incident, and Beau Bridges was the unassuming hero of the movie. It's great. It's on YouTube. Okay. I just saw Martyrs last week. Scott St. Pierre on the scene on Tubi, and it was unedited. I think it depends on the publishing house, not Tubi exactly. I don't think Tubi is doing anything. I think when they get the movies, they just show them as they are. Because I've seen a lot of stuff that, to me, it seems like they're completely unedited. So it depends on the distributor. Go Away has a little phone. It's got a phone there. Shout Factory is awesome. Yes, they are. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Nice fluffy pom-poms. Yes. Werewolf by Lunchtime. That's what I was going for. I was immediately drawn to the pom-poms, and I thought you'd like to see a little footage. Michael Dodd, Santo is his own subgenre. Yes, that is quite true. Michael Dodd, Wynorski crapped and fell back in it with Deathstalker 2. God, yeah. Oh, my God. That film, folks, once again, the poster's the deal. Tubi has a lot of those Mexican action movies. Yes, they do. Daniel Sweet, with most masked wrestler movies, just kick back and enjoy the strangeness. Yes. Michael Dodd, Living Dead Girl is Jean Rollin. Of course. If you like Rollin's films, acquired taste. Of course. Thank you for that tip right there. Meyer Greenblatt, I can fap to most of this. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of fappage going on here. Daniel Sweet, a lot of those Red Rocket releases are public domain movies. Well, that's the thing, man. You know, some of these movies, these Red Rocket movies, I've never heard of. And, you know, that's one thing about horror movie hosts. They keep showing the same shit over and over again. It's all the same public. They really need to look into more, you know, because there's way more movies they can be showing. Doesn't matter if they're crap or not, because they're already showing a bunch of crap movies anyways. You know, why not get into some more obscure stuff? Michael Taylor, that wrestler Mil Mascaras did a lot of those Mexican action movies. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, so we are at Mad Doctor of Zombie Island. This was titled something else. It's freaking god awful, folks. It's got nudity in it. That's about the only thing going for it. It's just horrible. But there is some good nudity. A Blade in the Dark. This is Lamberto Bava, 1986. Fuck, once again, what is going on here? Oh, wait a second. Nope. I don't know. Do I have to escape? It's not showing me the things on it. It may be a screw up with Tubi. Sorry about that. Yep. See that? It's not showing the actual description right now. How weird, huh? In any case, Turkey Shoot is a film with Steve Railsback, and it may be, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is Australian. Turkey Shoot, Steve Railsback, 1982. It's kind of a science fiction, dystopian future kind of movie. You know, most dangerous games, humans are hunted, you know, but it could be Australian. It's definitely worth seeing. You gotta see it. Turkey Shoot, I highly recommend. Astro Zombies. Oh, yes, it's the Astro Zombies. And folks, I've got something for you on that. Let's see here. Meyer, these shows are epic, and you are doing a fantastic job, Mike. Well, thank you, Meyer. I appreciate that. Turkey Shoot is great. It is an Aussie movie. Werewolf, there's the first Aussie movie that I want to offer up here. And indeed, it is quite good. I recommend it. Daniel Sweet recommends it. Turkey Shoot. You can't go wrong. It's really entertaining. It really is. But Astro Zombies, folks, get ready. Here's a little trailer.
What we discuss here, gentlemen, must remain in the confines of this room.
It is done, Francho.
It seems our Dr. DeMarco has succeeded in creating a subservient zombie. Police arriving at the scene reported several shots at point-blank range had no effect on the suspect.
We're convinced that Dr. DeMarco has created an astral man with a defective brain.
This time we must not fail to remove the emotional characteristics. Our only hope of recovering our original creation is to be sure that this brain is a pure calculating machine. We will add this circuit to the memory bank until we can effect an exchange with the first astral man. One day we'll be able to fill the memory bank with the most brilliant minds in the world, preserved forever for the benefit of mankind, to call on them for their knowledge.
Yep. That was Astro Zombies, folks, and there are some very entertaining parts of Astro Zombies. It's a mixed bag. Some of it's good, some of it's not. But I recommend you see it once at least. If you have not seen it yet, absolutely. Michael Dodd's. I was just getting to it. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, "Thanks, I will check it out. I might understand some lingo." We'll get back to that in a second. Michael Dodd, Tura Satana. Yeah, she is in Astro Zombies, and she's quite the sight. She is quite the sight to behold. I like the creature too. John Carradine is in this film. It's just a weird little. It is completely psychotronic. It is the essence of psychotronic cinema. There is no doubt about that. Astro Zombies, recommended. Let's get back to this Werewolf by Lunchtime. He says, "I might understand some lingo." Yeah, it's kind of funny with that because, as people in the chat may know, they, the thing about Australian lingo is that, well, for the most part, I mean, you can easily understand an Australian film. Obviously, there's certain words or phrases that they use, but when they released Mad Max in the United States, they actually dubbed it in American English. It was, of course, Australian English. And they were like, no, it's too foreign for people. So they dubbed it in American English. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, the original when it came over, dubbed in American English, but it's kind of hilarious when you think about it. When you see it, like, it's like, what? God, look, it's in English. What the hell do you want? So, in any case, Meyer Greenblatt says, "Poor John Carradine. Property taxes in Malibu Canyon are a ball breaker." Yes, that's what's going on with that. Scott St. Pierre says, "I saw Turkey Shoot when it was called Escape 2000. Yes, indeed. Also known as Escape 2000. Daniel Sweet, Astro Zombies, Carradine, Turrisatana, and a wind-up robot. I mean, what the hell? What more can you ask for, my good friends?" Werewolf by Lunchtime says that Astro Zombies would have been an H.H. Holmes favorite had he lived long enough. H.H. Holmes, wasn't he a serial killer? Was that are you trying to bring in a serial? He was I don't know. I want to say there's something about H.H. Holmes. Wasn't he the first serial killer in London or something? No, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, one English-speaking country cannot understand another English-speaking country. Weird. Well, they did it. Werewolf by Lunchtime. I mean, it's just hysterical that they actually thought they had to dub it into American English for the American audience. It's so stupid. There were a lot of Australian films that had already come over. They never dubbed them. They were just like, well, it's an action film, so we should dub it. What the hell? Just ridiculous. So let's cruise on up. Now, here we go, folks. Yeah, okay. We got it. As I was saying earlier, there are some H.P. Lovecraft, how should I say this? Very loose adaptations, vaguely based upon some H.P. Lovecraft stories. Now, H.P. Love, I want to just reach out and kill these people or something. H.P. Lovecraft's The Deep Ones. Yeah, there is no The Deep Ones. It's not H.P. Lovecraft's The Deep Ones. She did not write that. It is not a story. There is no based upon this crap, and it's a pile of shit. The Deep Ones is just, I started watching it, and I got through about 10 minutes of it. It's just a pile of crap. Same thing for Curse of the Reanimator. Yes. Oh, they're just loading on the mockbuster crap, aren't they? Curse of the Reanimator. I started watching this. Oh my God, it's so bad. 2022. I have not seen this one, which is 2017. Now it's a foreign international release here. I'm not quite sure from where. H.P. Lovecraft's Herbert West Reanimator. It might be good. I don't know. I'm definitely going to check it out. Stay away from these two. Oh my God. I mean, unless you're a masochist or something, you might enjoy them. I don't know. And here we go. One of Australia's finest, right here, 1993's Body Melt. Folks. This is the director's cut of Body Melt. Okay, according to the poster here. I have got the creature for you. Okay. First, let's see here. Yeah. Oops. Oh, Jesus, I've missed a lot. Here we go. Michael Dodd, regional slang can't be quite the hurdle, I guess. No. Werewolf by Lunchtime, H.H. Holmes murdered people around the time of the First World's Fair. Yes, of course. Mad Max, great movie. Yeah, great. Yeah, and that's science fiction. It could be. I mean, it's dystopian future, but it's a once again, that dystopian future. You got Mad Max, you got Road Warrior. Some people would put Road Warrior into the science fiction category. Absolutely, and it's a great film. Daniel Sweet, H.H. Holmes built an actual murder mansion, preying on people during the Chicago World's Fair. Okay. Yeah, he built a hotel specifically to dispose of people, says Werewolf by Lunchtime. God, what a story. And where's that movie? Have they made a movie of H.H. Holmes? I mean, really made a movie, like, period piece. Michael Dodd. Mike, the Deep Ones is shallow and lacking. Does have nudity, though. Yeah, it does have nudity. And I'm just sorry to say that wasn't enough. It just such a, oh man. And it just pissed me off, the fact that they called it H.P. Lovecraft's The Deep Ones. That just really, that chafes my hide. Okay. God, how dare they? Scott St. Pierre, if you get the chance, watch Call Girl of Cthulhu. Yeah, now that's a funny movie. And that's, when you're going to watch a film like Call Girl of Cthulhu, or I think there's another one called The Last Lovecraft, which is a horror comedy. Both of them are very entertaining, low budget horror comedies. It's obvious satire. Okay, you're going to go into, and you're going to laugh, and there's going to be some Lovecraft, references and so forth, and you're going to have a good time. That's what's going on there. Daniel Sweet, Scott St. Pierre, I'd buy that one because of the title. Oh yeah. Call Girl of Cthulhu it's worth seeing. I think it's on Tubi, or it was on Tubi. Michael Taylor, Werewolf thumbnail is cool. Yes, it is. Good, very good thumb on that one. Werewolf says, thanks, Michael. Okay, here we go, folks. Body Melt. I got a special trailer for you. Check this stuff.
Welcome to Terra's new dead end.
The first phase is hallucinogenic. The second phase is glandular. The third phase is...
Body Melt.
He was one healthy dude. Unnaturally healthy. Now, I'm talking new drugs here, right? I'm talking 90s, man. Cognition enhancers. Designed to take your mind into new intra-phenomenological dimensions.
In Sleepy Pebbles Court, something deadly is happening.
All Matthews, target number 1.
One by one,
Noble family.
they're dying.
Now sister and dinner organ too.
Be prepared,
Cheryl and Brian ran positive pregnancy.
because nothing can prepare you for the horror,
Up until their birth, babies are the ultimate parasite.
the madness,
Something is wrong.
the fury.
What is this?
A new age of human potential has dawned. Body melt. Pray they don't visit your street.
Done any good drugs lately?
What'd you think of that, folks? You ever seen that movie? Of almost any movie tonight, if you can stomach it, watch Body Melt. It is such a weird film. It is definitely science fiction. It's definitely horror. It's got a trauma vibe to it a bit. Although it's also got a Cronenberg. It's kind of like, what if Cronenberg crossed over with Lloyd Kaufman? Something like that. It is such a really, it's a great film. There's on so many levels. The weird effects, the special makeup effects, they're kind of gory and gross. Some of the the female leads, the nudity, wow, it's just hot. Body Melt, yeah, it's fantastic. Werewolf by Lunchtime. It's one of my favorite Australian films, definitely from the time. There's no doubt about it. Highly recommended. It's weird. It is trippy. It's one of those films you got to see a couple of times to kind of really grasp it. Michael Dodd, man, Body Melt looks pretty good. It is good. It is good. I can't recommend it enough. At least see it once. I think if you see it once, you're going to want to see it again. I tell you, it's just got that thing. Looks great and sounds delicious. Yes, indeed. Michael Taylor, you're welcome. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Ian Smith from long-running Australian soap opera Neighbours is in it. There you go. There you go, folks, right there. It's great. And that ends my the new additions to Tubi, right there. And obviously it was a mixed bag. There's some clunkers in there, but there are some excellent ones that are worth seeing. I highly recommend Body Melt. Once again, just going down the list. At least see Astro Zombies and Turkey Shoot once. I would recommend those. Living Dead Girl could be interesting. I might watch El Santo in the Fist of Death. That kind of looks cool. Runaway Nightmare. What the hell is that? I gotta see that just to believe it. I'll probably watch The Bird with the Crystal Plumage again. I've seen it a few times, but it's just great. Dario Argento. You will not be disappointed. If you like Argento, watch that film. Mutant Vampires. If you want to see the creatures, see it. Otherwise, I don't know. There's some nudity in it. I don't know. Autopsy, Craze, probably both of them worth watching at least once. Tin Can, I have not seen. I want to see it. It's another new sci-fi horror type film. There's a lot of them. Good God, guys. There's a lot of really good 21st century low budget science fiction. What was that film? I want to say it's called like Over the Rainbow. Over the Black Rainbow. Something like that. God, That is a good science fiction film. Panic, kind of worth seeing. Absurd, if you're a gore hound, you got to see it. Severn, Joe Diamato, right there, 1981. 4 gore hounds. I don't know about these. Icy Breaths, once again. What? 1974. Beyond the Darkness. Now, several people in here have said, yeah, it's good if you want some extreme gore. So there you go with that. Devil's Nightmare got a nod, I believe, from Michael Dodd on that 1971 film. Wonder Women. Well, I showed you the trailer. Come on. You know you guys want to watch that one. That is just, that's too much. There's so many great. It's a great trailer. The Majorettes, 1987. I am all over that film. There is no doubt about that, man. I don't know. Oops, You're a Vampire, possibly. Mario Bava's Shock from 1977, maybe. Oh, definitely Curse of the Crimson Altar. If anyone on this lineup here, definitely check out Curse of the Crimson Altar. You will not regret it. There it is, 1968. Yeah, Beyond the Black. Yeah, okay. Let me get up for your first for a second. Jesus Christ. Oh, Ian Smith. Yeah, okay. That's what we had. Guy Pearce, Margot Robbie started their careers on Neighbors. Okay. Australian, right? Okay. Good show, Mike. Thank you. You're welcome, Michael Dodd. Thank you for being here. My Werewolf by Lunchtime says, as well as Kylie Minogue. Oh, hey. Meyer says, I'll take the body melt on toasted rye, fries, and coleslaw. Indeed. Daniel Sweet, nice to meet you, Werewolf. Talk to you guys Sunday. Stay warm. Nice to chat, Daniel. Take care. Scott St. Pierre, yeah, Beyond the Black Rainbow. That is another 21st century science fiction film you guys have to check out. Now, it may be on Tubi. Give it a search. See that film, okay? It's an absolute treasure. There are just several films. I'm telling you, geez Louise, there was just a film. Let me see something here. I got to go way down here. And we looked through a lot of these, but there was a film I just watched, and it's a new film. Oh God, The Void. Okay, there you go, folks. The Void, 2017. That's way up on my 21st century science fiction film list. You've got to check that out. Just great film. But there was another film that I just watched again recently that is very good. New film. It's killing me right now because I can't think of it. It's the name of a girl, and she's like a genetic experiment. I keep wanting to say Margot, but it's not Margot. It's Jesus. Where is it? Maybe it's up here. I want you guys to check this out because it's very good. Oh yeah, The Domestics is hilarious. You guys, I highly recommend The Domestics 2018. That's a dystopian future type of thing, but it's funny as hell. It's political. There's Mad Max. Of course, they have that on there. Detention, I love it. 2012 science fiction horror comedy. Dane Cook is in it. Very, very amusing. Oh, where is that damn film? It's called Margot. Oh, there's Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's up in my science fiction list. I consider it science fiction. A lot of people might say horror, but it is definitely all along the sci-fi route, if you will. Yeah, there's From Beyond, folks, 1986. We haven't even gotten into those. Dagon, Stuart Gordon. God. I mean, where is that damn film? I know that I just put it in here. And it's really good. Margot, something like that. Shit. Now it's gonna drive me insane. Morgan. That's what it's called. Right? Morgan. I know it's in here. I know the damn film's in here. It's a recent film. Let me see here. Let me see if I can ring it up. And maybe they've taken it off. I don't want to send you guys on a wild goose chase. It's called Morgan. Of course, there was also that other one about the guy that makes the robots, and they're female robots. What the fart? Nope, they removed it. Sorry, guys. God damn it. Oh, that's really depressing. Ah, crap. In any case, let's go back. Meyer, that's funny. Yes, indeed, that was. Meyer says, I see breast reminds me of IP Freely. Indeed. Scott St. Pierre, Shock is good. Daria Nicolodi, yes. Well, she's just great. I just love her. Daniel Sweet, Absurd is a kind of sequel to The Grim Reaper, yes. John Russo from Night of Living Dead fame made The Majorettes. There you go, John Russo, The Majorettes. There's the tie-in. Thank you, Daniel Sweet. Michael Dodd, see you fellas Sunday. Titans won last night, so no overlap with the nooner for me. All right. Groovy. The Void is good, yes. The Void is one that for the 21st century, man. That's way up on my list. Scarlett Johansson movie. Not quite sure. Nope, not thinking of Lucy. But Lucy is another one. It's called Morgan, this movie. And it's, I don't know, the last 5-6 years. Michael Taylor, Michael Dodd Titans, the football team. Stuart Gordon did awesome work. Yes, some of my favorite films. Really good Lovecraft adaptations. Tennessee Titans. All right, guys. Well, that was it. So Sunday, here's what we got. We have the top 5 science fiction films of all time in the 20th century and the top 5 in the 21st century. So consider that. There's a ton of them. I know it's going to be difficult, but you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you Sunday for the Horror Mike Sunday Nooner. And remember, if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I really appreciate it. The channel isn't monetized. If you feel like it, of course, I've got my film Witch Tales, which is on Amazon Prime. You can rent. Also, Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1, which is 2 hours long, you can rent for $2 on Amazon Prime. And it's almost all science fiction horror. The segments. There's 6 segments. It's about 2 hours long. It's really good. There's a lot of good stuff in it. I do highly recommend that one. But Witch Tales is also on Amazon Prime. And it is in the link in the description. The Blu-ray, the limited, signed, and numbered, is on eBay. So there you go. And Michael Taylor says, thanks, Mike. I had a blast. I did too. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming. And I will see you guys Sunday at noon. Take care.